And I don't think about her when I'm training. Like, yeah, we have a game plan for her for the fight, a whole lot of game plans, but I'm just trying to be better than what I was yesterday.
And the only loss in your amateur or professional career came to her. So when you think about that, I know you said you don't think about her in your training, but does that fuel you a little bit just to go ahead and get that out the way and just show the world?
Y'all be saying that wrong. I only lost in the amateurs in boxing. She's not my only loss in the amateurs or the professionals. I've never lost in the professionals. I'm undefeated. So I lost to her 10 years ago in the amateurs by 6 points, 8 points to 14. It doesn't bother me at all because I've been able to be successful after that. You know, up on the other end, you got her, lost every tournament she was in after that. In those same tournaments, I won gold. So, you know, having one loss in the amateurs and being able to turn pro and do everything that I've done, I don't really care about it. But I think it's a great story. It's a great storyline. I guess we got history. She don't like me, I don't like her. And I look forward to the fight in 6 weeks.
Do you ever think about where you are right now in your career and what you've done for the sport and for young women like yourself from Flint to like you doing the kids camp, and they could see you, they could touch you and be around you? You don't really get that with athletes. So do you ever think about that and the impact you're having?
I know that I have a big impact on on the city of Flint and Michigan and just in the USA and black girls and just girls who want to box. And I do take pride in that. That's why I carry myself the way that I do. That's why I continue to be confident. You know, people have tried to force me to quiet down and find a happy medium and be nice to my opponents and don't trash talk, but it's boxing, you know, and I'm very passionate about the sport. I love boxing. I love the trash talk, actually. Like, I love the build up to fights. And I'm officially a millionaire and I can do whatever I want and I don't have to follow all these rules that they put on women. So I just want to, you know, show the younger girls coming up that just be you. You know, you don't have to worry about trying to be like her, do what he say. You don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want to do and still be great. And that's just.
Welcome. It's fight week. It is fight week. I'm hype. This Saturday here in the States, it's going to be broadcast on ESPN Plus, the app, 2 p.m. Eastern. Over in the UK, it's going to be on regular Sky Sports, not pay-per-view. We're going to get a magnificent card between Claressa Shields, 2-division undisputed champion, 3-division champion overall, 168, 160, 154. She's been undisputed at 154 and 160, and she's going back for undisputed again after her run at 154, back to 160 to take on her rival, Savannah Marshall. 12-0 with 10 KOs. This woman is good. My bad, we're going to talk about you later on, Spider. Claressa Shields, 12-0 with 2 KOs, 27 years old, listed at 5'8". Met her in Atlantic City at Joe Smith versus Jesse Hart. That was the same night that Franchon Cruz de Zern fought Alejandra Jimenez. And, you know, her trainer, Barry Hunter, snatched her wig out of her head. Wild shit. Thanks for the super chat, JC. Great year for women's boxing. Yes, it has been. Also on this card.
How dare you?
How dare you? Also on this card, you're going to have Michaela Mayer, WBO and IBF champion at 130 pounds, taking on Alicia Baumgartner, WBC champion after defeating Terry Harper at 130 pounds. So it's a 3-belt unification right there. Hun Mi Choi has the WBA, and she's doing like Korean modeling on Instagram, so she don't really seem like she really want to fight. But you have the sister of Daniel Dubois, Caroline Dubois on the card, Lauren Price. It's an all women's boxing show with Christina Poncher, female announcer, obviously, doing lead commentary here in the States for ESPN Plus. So I'm looking forward to it. It's 3 fights, really 4 fights in particular. Let me show you the card real quick. Particularly, I'm looking forward to. Here's the card, just to read it all for you. Shields versus Savannah Marshall, Michaela Mayer versus Alicia Baumgartner. I made sure to put out 2 different individual videos on that. And if you check out my podcast, the link is right up at the top. please help me out. Download the Fight View 360 podcast, available on your podcast listening platforms. We are very close to meeting the monetization requirements, and basically I'm not going to be doing it for my health, you dig? Really trying to grow it, as we're trying to get like some real high quality guests on the show sooner than later. But I'm going to be here covering this card on Saturday, and then of course at night for the UFC heads, you're going to have UFC 279. So yes, we're going to talk about the spar. I mean, we're going to talk about the amateur tape. Give me a minute. Let me go through the particulars. All right. We're going to talk about the sparring tape. All right. Give me a minute. Not the sparring, the amateur fight. Just give me a minute. Damn it. So you have Claressa Shields, Savannah Marshall main event. Michaela Mayer versus Alicia Baumgartner. That could have been its own card. You have the sister of Daniel Dubois, WBA world champion, Caroline Dubois taking on a Melina Kaliva. Ebony Jones taking on a Vanessa Caballero. Jenny, I don't know who these women are except for Lauren Price, April Hunter, Caroline Dubois, but it's an all-female card. It's an all-female card. And you know what even kind of pisses me off? They got Sarah Liegman, 4-0, taking on a Beck Conley. Beck Conley has been getting her ass beat so many times this year. Like, bro, come on, Beck. I mean, she's got a great personality and all that shit, and she's tough. But it's like, really? Y'all just going to keep wheeling her out there? They're going to get the woman killed. Like, she be getting her ass beat. 3 of 15 with 5 KOs, 38 years old. Lady Luck ain't been with her for a while. She got stopped against Jordan Baker, stopped against Ebony Jones. Put it this way. She had 4 fights this year. This would be her 5th. 3 of which she was stopped. The only person that didn't stop her back in March, and she could have if she would have stepped on the gas, Sky Nicholson. She got stopped by Ebony Bridges and lost the points to Ramla Ali and to Ellie Scottney and to Rachel Ball. So that goes to show you she's getting worse. So she went the distance with Ellie Scott. She got stopped by Natasha Jonas too, who just fought this week and defended her and picked up another belt at 154. So she got stopped by Jonas, went the distance with Rachel Barr. What the hell is going on with her? I think she's still injured. Went the distance with Ellie Scottney, went the distance with Ramla Ali, went to stopped by Ebony Bridges. Bro, come on, man, you're killing me. This is very painful to see. It's very painful. So overall, I'm digging the card, and there's a lot of content out for both of these fights, meaning Shields and Marshall and Mayer and Baumgartner, for example. Let's go look at the Sky Sports page real quick just to show you between ESPN and Sky Sports. They have a lot of content out for here. Let's go to Top Rank first. And I've been, as you can see, I've been watching all of it. I'm supposed to watch this after, but Sky Sports has a wealth of content for the fight. For example, you got this right here with Alicia Baumgartner. Let's go check in a little bit.
Any arena in the US. We're grateful to
look at her. She got the cat suit on.
Have it here in the UK. You can see that Alicia Baumgartner, Michaela Mayer have joined us now. Michaela, I'll come straight to you. Just how excited are you for this fight at the weekend and set it up for us? I mean, we're not getting it wrong, are we? This is a grudge match.
It's a grudge match. It's turned into a mega fight. This is exactly what I wanted. This is why I did all the talking that I did, was to get to this point. So I'm happy it's finally here.
Alicia, same question to you. Tasha's going to take the mic for you.
Yeah, no, big fight Saturday. Again, this is history. This is legacy. This is moving the needle in women's boxing, and we are here.
There is bad blood between.
Yeah, I haven't watched all of this yet, but they had a little handshake at the end. Let's go watch that. We're going to watch that piece.
Or her coach is throwing in
strong-ass handshake.
Could I offer a handshake? You don't have to take it. Would you shake each other's hand, or is it not that point?
Watch how strong this handshake is. Look at that strong-ass handshake.
Yeah, you feel that?
Okay.
Probably squeezing the shit out of her hand. Probably was squeezing the shit out of her hand. But, yeah, they got a lot of quality content. They're really going hard with this women's boxing fight and boxing card, and it's not a pay-per-view. I mean, look at all of this. Like, look at all of this. Here, let's go peek into Gloves Are Off for those who didn't get a chance to see it.
Well, the boxer was in front of me.
Musea was a 140.
You two have sparred before. Who wants to tell me about it?
Oh, we sparred in Colorado. She remembers what happened.
Tell me about it.
She couldn't do nothing with me in there. And that was 2016, prior to the Olympics. That's why we see I won gold and she won nothing. You got served 6 rounds.
No, we done 4 rounds, Claressa, and nothing happened.
Okay.
In them 4 rounds?
Girl, your face was
Oh, yeah.
orange as a pumpkin when it got done.
You've never made no one's face look like a pumpkin?
See, that's what you say. But I beat everybody unanimous decision. I've knocked out world champions. You fought low-class opponents.
Who have you knocked out?
Who have you knocked out? Let's talk about that.
I haven't said anything about knocking people out. I'm asking you, who have you knocked out?
I'm asking you, who have you knocked out?
Looked at me records.
A lot of girls who were bums. Maria Lindbergh, 3-day replacement.
Well, the boxer was in front of me.
I'm not Gordo.
Was a 147-pounder. Who have you fought against that was elite? Who was elite?
Do you realise how hard I am
Who was elite?
Do you realise how hard I am to match?
Who was elite?
So I did a whole video and podcast on both of these, and all of this shoulder content pretty much. Gloves Are Off, where they sit down with skinny jeans wearing Sky Sports Johnny Nelson. I covered, did a video on, what's the other one? Behind the Ropes. That's like their, HBO 24/7 Showtime All Access to equate it to something. And I covered this fight this weekend between Liam Smith and that Joaquino guy. Ew, that was nasty. But one thing for sure is both of these ladies have been, all 4 of them have been really promoting the shit out of this card with all the trash talking and everything. And I'm putting my neck out there, but not really. Despite what I've seen from the amateur tape, and let's pull that up right now. Let's go take a look at this amateur tape. And I'm hoping we're going to go take a look at this amateur tape. We're going to, for you, the people, this is what I do. We're going to push it a little bit, and we're going to show you some of this tape that was finally released. So I did a video yesterday about, I put a title up on a previous video. I believe it was the video before this, when I was like, somebody's lying about the sparring tape, because both of them had different accounts of what happened. Not the sparring, the amateur tape. Both of them had different accounts on the Gloves Are Off about what happened. In fact, before we go watch this tape, I'm going to go to my trusty Fight View 360 Boxing Podcast script book, and I'm going to pull up the timestamp for where they both had different things to say about this amateur boxing match. And one thing I want to point out is you don't hardly ever hear Savannah Marshall talking about it as much as Claressa Shields. And I watch these fights, I cover these women, and you hear Claressa Shields more talking about, oh, well, yeah, she beat me in the amateurs, but it's the amateurs. But you don't never really hear Savannah Marshall like, I beat you in the amateurs, or posted, I beat you in the amateurs. It's always Claressa Shields, in my opinion, and Savannah Marshall reacting off of that. And that's how you can tell it really bothers Claressa. Because in my opinion, she's the one that keeps bringing it up. But let's go watch this. Let me pull this up real quick.
Marshall.
Not often.
Let me see. What's the timestamp? Is it 8? I got my timestamps here. Here it is. I think it's right here. Here it is. Now listen to this.
Ash. So you won't be wearing that then?
I won't be wearing that.
I should slap you. Everybody else, zip it. Savannah Marshall, zip it. Miss, you've been pro 5 years and got 1 belt.
If I was Claressa Shields, the first thing I'd do is I'd hide that awful necklace in the bin.
What, the Gwalt
I'd be going
necklace?
Straight in the trash.
So you won't be wearing that then?
I won't be wearing that.
I should slap you. You talking about some you want to be the GOAT, or you the GOAT because you beat me 10 years ago. Slap, slap, slap.
She's got like a bit of a bravado going on, hasn't she? Because I remember last time in Newcastle, they're all shouting, "Who are you? Who are you?" And she was going, "You all know I am."
Here's the part right here. When they were talking about this, the amateur match, I was going to say sparring again.
It's like this never come out to the public, this fight, before?
Never.
So no one's ever actually, unless you've seen it or showed them yourself. Do you even have it or not?
No. I've watched it though, JB had it.
Why would they take the fight off the internet? When have they ever, in the history of boxing, hid a fight from the internet? You cannot put this fight up on the internet and have the fans watch it and have them decide who won. Because if we do that, this fight dies. Because she supposed to knock me out. She told everybody she destroyed me. She beat me down. She hurt. The footage don't lie. And I have the footage.
Look how bouncy I am on my toes.
Yeah, you're not like that anymore. Not
I'm
really.
not like that no more. No. Whereas Clarissa's already got a pro style here. When I got there, I remember everyone talking about this American who's unbeaten. Then I got the draw sheet and it was like, Savannah, you've got the winner of America and India. You get told every round the score, so she knows she's down here.
So she's having to come out.
So she's having to come out and have a go.
Oh, wait a minute, just so y'all know. If you can zoom in. The fight started, she didn't
Look,
have
she's
no
got it
sweat.
on her phone.
This third round. I was on her like a pit bull on a goddamn rabbit. I chased her all over the ring. I chased her. She's sweating.
Because obviously this was her first ever loss.
And it's hard for her.
Obviously,
Like she's never experienced it
10
before.
year on, she's still whinging.
Let me go to her face real quick. Because that baby was red. Because I was punching her hard in the face.
She's got good feet.
What
She's
about
got a
you?
good jab, yeah.
What about you?
She's not, doesn't look very strong.
Are you?
Come here, little skinny
Yeah,
arms.
I know.
So I'm going to do something unprecedented here. This is what we're going to go do. And Sky Sports is going to take this video and demonetize it, and it may not be up tomorrow. So what we're going to do is, for you, the people, thanks for the super chat, La Munica, sub T Street, Marshall by TKO. You think Ortiz Chisora would be good? Great content. Thank you. We'll talk about Ortiz Chisora later on. But since we got to move on, guess what? Guess what? We're going to go watch the tape. We're going to decide right here, right now, who won that amateur fight. Let's go watch the tape. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. I'm T Street Controversy with Fight View 360. This is for educational, news reporting, promotional, broadcasting purposes, fair use. We're promoting the fight. It's going to be live on ESPN Plus this weekend, Saturday, September the 10th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Download the ESPN Plus app. It's going to be on Sky Sports over in the UK. Download the Sky Sports boxing app if they have one. But let's go watch the tape. Let's go watch the tape. So I did a video yesterday on where's the tape and somebody's lying. But guess what? As I released the video, not even an hour later, Sky Sports released the tape. And we got the tape right here. Let me put it in the VCR. Hold on, give me a minute. Let me fix the tuner. Let me fix the tuner. Hold on. Let me fix the tracker so we can get the static out. Let's go watch the tape. 10 years ago, 2012. Savannah Marshall in the blue, Claressa Shields. They meet in China. Let's go watch the tape. It's got some fucking music. I'm going to turn that shit off. Let me put my own soundtrack. Put my own soundtrack on that joint. Anyway. So it is a point scoring system in the amateurs. And you can see how, and it is true. Savannah, Claressa Shields looked much better, like overall, like as a boxer. Like look at the stance, like looking real sharp. To where Savannah's looking real, like jittery on her feet. And she doesn't fight like this no more. She fights a lot better than she did. And this is not just because, we're fine. Now, I do admit, from what I've seen, I do feel that Claressa Shields should have won. which is probably why you don't really hear Savannah Marshall boasting about it. Savannah Marshall trained by Peter Fury, shares camp with Huey Fury. Peter Fury trained the uncle, trained Tyson Fury. Claressa Shields trained by John David Jackson, former trainer of Sergey Kovalev, former opponent of Bernard Hopkins. He used to always remind me of Blanca from Street Fighter when he had like the hair, except he wasn't green. Your amateur judging is very dodgy. But I just feel that what we know of Savannah Marshall right now, I feel that she has enough of a skill set to be able to keep her, especially now that she's better 10 years later, to be able to keep Claressa Shields off of her. Claressa Shields is going to have to play the pressure fighter. But remember, this Savannah Marshall girl, she's 6 feet tall. And she does have a jab. And the way she's boxing now, it is 10 years ago. It is the amateurs. But she's good. You know how the famous boxing story goes about how Sean Porter defeated Alexander Usyk in the amateurs? Like, the fuck? You know? You know, there's always that. But I'm really hype about this card. But as you can see, if you were to say, you know, in pro boxing terms, who's the ring general? Who's the ring general? It's clearly Claressa. Clearly. Also, to be putting some tunes on, right? Put a little tunes on in the background. Let's watch this. Let's watch the tape. Christina Hammer was but I consider Savannah Marshall, because every time I talk about how Savannah Marshall going to win, there's always somebody pulling Christina Hammer out their ass. Well, Christina Hammer was 6 feet tall too. Or what about Christina Hammer? You know, they said she was the best. Savannah Marshall, in my opinion, will put a boot in Christina Flopper's ass. Christina Hammer, no good flopper too, if y'all don't know. No bullshit, she flopped. Let's watch the tape. Put some music in the background. Keep it a little low. Let's go watch this tape. I don't know, guys. So who do you think won? Now, you know what I noticed about the second half of the fight? Claressa Shields was clearly slowing down, and she started swinging really wildly in desperation. But in a point scoring system, it's a very it was you know, but you can't say that either party clearly won. You know, and I'm guessing maybe they were looking at, you know, the cleaner punching. Claressa Shields was aggressive, but I'm guessing they were looking at the cleaner punching. You know, like Claressa was kind of smothering her shots in the point system. You know what though? Anthony Jones said Claressa's more polished now, but didn't it seem like she sat on her punches more then? She's definitely more polished. You know, we see like she can box. You know, she's not just a she's not just a pressure fighter power puncher anymore. But not like she was a power puncher. But she can definitely box. We know if you've seen her last couple of fights, she's shown like that she can really she can box. She's not just out there pressuring and being all sloppy like she was in previous fights. You know, but this Savannah Marshall girl, let me try to pull you up some tape of her so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Like, this girl ain't no joke. Like, for real. Like, she's not no joke, bro. And then we got to move on to the next topic. We're already a half an hour in. Savannah Marshall. Let me see if I can find some footage that's copyright free, like some old ass. See if I can find when she was with Mick Hennessy. There we go. Hopefully Mick Hennessy don't give us no shit. Oh, we're doing this for educational purposes, Mick. But this girl like ain't no joke, bro. Like, it's a different style than what she's seen before. And this was years ago. How old was this fight? 2018, 4 years ago. But, you know, as you can see, like, that bounce is not, like, in her step no more. You know, like, where, like, she's sitting on her punches. And she's got all that confusing head movement. But both of these girls, between her and Savannah Marshall, Claressa Shields and Marshall, they both got a lot better. You know, like, this is the best both of them will be. Let's see if we can get you some highlights. Did they have some highlights around here somewhere? You're like, this girl ain't no joke. Oh, here we go with the insults. Make it happen says you sound stupid. Savannah Marshall was average. Here we go. Here we go. Look at Engel with them questionable ass picks with Kell Brook and Tenerife. Here we go. I've been getting the verbal beaten all day. Not verbal, but in like the YouTube comments. I've been getting cyberbullied because I'm picking Savannah Marshall. People calling me stupid and shit. Like, I'm a person too, you know. I got like feelings and stuff. Like, that ain't cool, man. It's 2022. You guys need to grow up. But then again, I cuss your ass out too. Like, don't get it twisted. Don't get me to cussing. You know, they say about people from Philly, we will roast you. But the next topic we're going to talk about is we got to talk about Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva, which was officially announced today. You know? Savannah Marshall has been having issues getting fights because, you know, in a women's division where she can compete at one, you know, once you get to 154 and above, the competition, you know, starts becoming like real limited. Like for real. That's just facts. That's why you have people like or fighters like Natasha Jonas and Terry Harper fighting at 154 because they can do that because the skill level, once you go from 154 on up, the skill level just starts like diminishing, like for real, like big time. So, you know, Claressa Shields had issues getting like, you know, significant fights herself. But, you know, she had a good promotional and managerial team that they really pushed forward. And they've been able to build her to be who she is right now. But, As far as Savannah Marshall is concerned, she hasn't been able to get that because, for one, she's very dangerous. Women don't want to fight her. And number two, she's really, in my opinion, a 168 pounder competing at 168. And she can definitely fight at 175, but it ain't nothing up there. Anytime you have Hannah Gabriels being a light heavyweight champion, she might be heavyweight champion. I don't even know. That goes to show you how, once you get above a certain place, a certain weight class, the competition starts getting real, real limited, But now, they're fighting. It's going to be this weekend. I'm going to be here. I'm hyped. I am picking Savannah Marshall, mostly because, if I was her power, her size, and her reach, the jab is going to really be the key. I want to see if she's going to be able to jab Claressa Shields' head off. They both are going to be the toughest challenge they've both faced in their career. And that's just, it is what it is. And we just sat here and watched the amateur tape. And if you really think about it, there's not like somebody was dominating. It's not like it was a tale of two halves. The first half, Claressa Shields came out like a bat out of hell, and she was landing some big shots. And then the second half, it seemed as though Savannah Marshall got her footing, and she started being the better boxer. You see what I'm saying? But either way, we're gonna be here. So put your money where your mouth is. T Street don't gamble. T Street he try not to sin. Or letting any vices into his life besides marijuana, medicinal marijuana. But I'm going to be here streaming during the main event. And we're not just going to be here streaming during the main event. For the first time, I've never done this before, but we're going to be streaming during the co-main event too. Michaela Mayer versus Alicia Baumgartner. Got to. I'm very excited about both of these fights. And remember, though, we must point out, they're 2-minute rounds. So these fights are going to blow by. Whack, trash, and I know at least Michaela Mayer, I don't know about the other three women, but I know at least Michaela Mayer, wants more pay if she's going to fight 3-minute rounds. I understand the logic. I understand her point, but the logic is a little flawed. Because it's like, y'all be wanting to be equal and everything and want to get paid more, but y'all want to do less. It's just, don't get me started because I don't want to get canceled. You see what I'm saying? But these shits should be 3-minute rounds. Anytime you got the UFC women kicking each other in the head, going 5 minutes around, for 5 rounds if it's a championship fight. Nah, I'm not trying to hear that shit. Y'all want equal pay. Y'all got to step up to the plate, start doing them 3-minute rounds. Y'all got to really start going out there because it happens a lot in women's boxing where a fighter start getting some momentum and maybe a knockout or stoppage may be coming and then boom, the round is over. It's like, no, that ain't it. Especially with the way that they're building these female athletes, these female boxers to be athletes. Have you seen Terry Harper today? Let me go pull up Terry Harper. And tell me, that you don't want to see her fighting no 3-minute rounds. I'm not no. If it's anything, y'all want to be, the GOAT and all that. No 3-minute rounds. You talking about fighting Keith Thurman? Look, tell me, that's Terry Harper at 154. Former 130-pound champion that got knocked out by Alicia Baumgartner, who's fighting at 130. Vada, call her right now. Go get that piss. I'm not accusing, but I'm saying, look at this. And y'all not fighting 3-minute rounds? Look at this woman. Look at those guns. Look at those legs. God damn. Oh, that's me. Follow me on Twitter at T Street Controversy. That was me 12 hours ago. I posted that. Bro. You don't want to do no 3-minute rounds. I'm not trying to hear that shit. Yeah, because Michaela Mayer, and I forgot who else said it, said something along the lines of, well, they want us to fight 3-minute rounds and they got to pay me more than what I'm getting now. And it's like, I understand that, but how do you account that in when different fights are worth different money? No, this still is like, yo, look at her fucking arms, bro. This shit is wild, bro. She went from 130 to fucking 154. This shit is wild. 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 So you damn right I'm going to be looking like, yo, you know? But anyway, moving on. It was officially announced earlier today that, hold on, let me get this shit off the screen, that Jake Paul is going to be taking on Anderson the Spider Silva. How old is Anderson Silva? About 47 years old? Hey, let me pull it up real quick. Here, let's go listen to what Jake Paul has to say. It's going to be on October the 29th on Showtime pay-per-view. I wonder how much they're going to charge us. $50 or the full $75. Like, they need to, I mean, you know, wonder how much they're going to charge us. Let's go listen to what he had to say. Let's go listen to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the fight announcement you have all been waiting for. And I usually have to sell my fights. I usually have to do all of the work. But this time, Dana White, Conor McGregor's dad, is promoting the fight for me. Thank you.
Anderson Silva. We honestly need to start talking again about this guy as the GOAT. Not Tito, because he knocked Tito out in 40 fucking seconds. But you know what? He did to Tito exactly what should be done to Tito. Knocking Tito out in 40 seconds is what should have happened in that fight. Anderson Silva beat Chavez Jr. at 40 what? 44, 45 now?
46.
46? 40 fucking 6 years old. He now left this sport, which he was, you know, considered one of the greatest of all time, possibly even the greatest of all time, goes out, beats Chavez Jr. in a boxing match, and knocks Tito out in 40 seconds. Anderson Silva might actually be the GOAT of combat sports. I mean, to still compete, it'll be interesting to see what he does next. I fucking guarantee you this. You ain't gonna see Jake Paul calling Anderson Silva out. That I fucking promise you. He's his size, and he's actually good.
The kid out?
Hey, Jake. Anderson's out. Jake? Jake? Jake?
Dana? Guess who? Now, I normally don't agree with Dana White, but he is right. Anderson Silva is literally the greatest MMA fighter of all time and one of the most versatile fighters in the history of combat sports. He literally just schooled the world champion boxer in Julio Captain Crunch Caesar Jr. III. Anderson Silva has been on a KO streak, knocking out Tito Ortiz, Bruno Machado. I mean, this guy is nasty in the ring. And for me, this fight was supposed to be after Tommy Fury because I've never fought a southpaw, and this is a much tougher fight. Every fight critic said that I wouldn't take this fight, and if I did, I would lose to Silva.
Anderson Silva also come from that MMA side, but always had boxing in his
He's a
blood.
striker
But
first.
you also need,
He's a striker
but you
first.
also need to keep it like a balancing act here, whether you're playing. I think Anderson is too good. I don't think there would be a surprise element to that promotion. I think Chavez Jr. is a better name for who Anderson just beat in boxing, who is tough though.
But it's time to dive into the deep end, put it all on the line, and give the people what they want. Joe Rogan, Dana.
Oh, let me play the other video. It's a part 2. I mean, I'm cool with. I'll give you my thoughts in a minute after he's finished. After he finished, I'll give my thoughts.
Rogan, Dana White, and many of the other MMA experts have named Anderson Silva the greatest MMA fighter of all time. Anderson holds the UFC record for the longest title reign in the history of the sport, 2,457 days. And he holds the record for the most UFC victories in a row, which is 16. Most knockouts in UFC title fights, most finishes in UFC title fights, most knockouts by division, most knockdowns in career title belts, most significant strikes landed. This guy's accolades are fucking crazy. It's an absolute honor to be sharing the ring with such a legend like Anderson Silva, but only one of us can walk out as a winner, and I believe it's gonna be me. Saturday, October 29th, live on Showtime pay-per-view, Phoenix, Arizona. Be there.
If he's really fighting Anderson Silva, if that's true, it's about time. Yeah, he's got a real fight in his hands there. Regardless of how old Anderson is, that's a real fight.
I like the fight. I'm down with it. I've covered Anderson Silva's last few fights. The one on the Mayweather card over in Dubai where he fought the Machado guy. I covered when he knocked out Tito Ortiz. I thought it was a flop, but then it's like, yo, he really laid him out. I was hurt and disappointed that Chavez Jr., representing the boxing community, lost to him. And he gave Chavez Jr. a boxing lesson. boxing fucking lesson. And I think he's going to beat Jake Paul. Now remember, Jake Paul don't have no losses here. Jake Paul is a social media influencer, a YouTube troll. Like, he's a promoter naturally. So there's no losses for him fighting Anderson Silva. Where they're going to say, oh, well, you lost to Anderson Silva, who beat Chavez Jr., one of the greatest mixed martial artists of all time. He can still keep it going. But I get where fans are coming from. You want to see him fight a boxer. October the 29th on pay-per-view. Now, here's my issue. Once again, more pay-per-views. We just had Andrew Ruiz versus Luis Ortiz on pay-per-view. September the 4th. September the 17th, in a couple of weeks, you're going to have Canelo versus Golovkin 3 on the Zone, $64.99 if you have the Zone, $84.99 on pay-per-view if you don't. October the 15th, you're going to have Deontay Wilder versus Robert Helenius, Caleb Plant versus Anthony Dirrell, Frank Sanchez versus Carlos Negron, and Michelle Rivera versus a TBA. That's the rumor. That's going to be October the 15th on PBC on Fox pay-per-view. The fights that's supposed to be announced any day now. Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford on Showtime pay-per-view. That's going to be $74.99. Don't be surprised if they try to make it $79.99. And then a couple weeks before that, you have this on Showtime pay-per-view. And then in December, Tank Davis returns, possibly against Ryan Garcia, hopefully, on pay-per-view. While kids are at school. People are home. Gas is still $4 a gallon. Like, what are they thinking? What are they thinking? So, here's what I think. I think that this fight's going to really do really well because you also have the casual fans, and the Jake Paul fans. Like, oh wow, he's fighting Anderson Silva, and then you have the mixed martial arts fans. This has the potential to do 500,000 at least pay-per-view buys, just because off of the casual and mainstream appeal this fight's going to get. Wild. Teofimo fight is not on pay-per-view. That hasn't been confirmed. And it's likely not going to be on pay-per-view. It ain't going to. Teo fight ain't going to be on pay-per-view. He said pay-per-view, but he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about, I don't think. Gordy says, what are you more excited about, Shields? I'm more excited about Shields Marshall. And also, some rando says the KSI fight just did $500K plus. That has the potential to do more. Now, why do people keep saying this? No disrespect, but that fight was $10. It wasn't $75. It was $10. It was $10. It's a big difference between 500,000 people buying a $10 fight than 500,000 people buying a $74.99 or $50 fight. It was $10. Unless they're talking about, like, how much was it in the UK? I know here in the States it was $10. How much was it on the Zone UK for that KSI versus Schwarm's fight card? Shit was $10 here in the States. So it's a big, big difference. But I'm all for this fight. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. Finally, let's go talk about this last fight. Here, let me play it from right here.
I had to make counters, but I ended up coming out on top. And my message to Mexicans out there is that I thank them very much. Thank you for your support. It was a hard-fought victory, and I'm very thankful with all of you.
Hold on, guys. If you wait for the mic, and then by all means, go ahead.
Andy, aquí Gonzalo Alvarado de CN en español. Felicidades.
Gracias.
Andy, en el segundo y séptimo round, mirábamos que ya tenías la victoria y ahora sí, ya en los guantes, básicamente. En la conferencia de prensa que diste previo a la pelea, decías que no iban a llegar al 12º round, que se iba a definir quizás antes del 12º round. En el segundo round, tenías todos los elementos ahí para doblegarlo y llevarte la victoria. ¿Qué pasó ahí? ¿Por qué no hubo esa definición completa?
Pues yo no pensé que todavía estaba muy...
Either way, I was going to come out with a win. That's what.
Marcus Hayes, Fight Hub TV. First, congratulations on your victory tonight. Well
Thank
fought,
you.
Andy. You and Ortiz both. Andy, after the fight, I met up and talked to Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder said basically that he was recognizing that all roads look like they're leading to you and him locking horns, and he welcomes the challenge. How open are you to fighting Deontay Wilder, and will you be cheering for him on the 15th?
Of course, man. That's one of the dream fights that I always had, just like Ortiz, and it's just another step closer to get that WBC belt that I always been praying and wishing for. And you know, thanks to God, we got this victory. Hopefully, he gets his victory in October, and we can make this fight happen. He's under Al Heyman just like me, so it's a fight where it could be easily made. And I'm ready, man. I want to stay busy. I want to go straight to the gym again because, like I said, I didn't feel at my 100%, but we got the victory.
I think it's safe to say that they're already building it up. That if Deontay Wilder beats Robert Helenius, which he should, Robert Helenius has a jelly belly. Robert Helenius has a jelly belly, not a jelly belly, a jelly chin. And I feel that once he touches his chin, that he's going to go down. Robert Helenius may be winning the fight on the cards, but then once he gets touched, like he's going to go down. Here's what Deontay Wilder had to say during an interview when he was in the ring.
The Bronze Bomber in the ring, shaking hands with Andy Ruiz's son here is Heidi Andro.
To the ring, I have a feeling you have something to say to Mr. Ruiz.
I mean, it was a great fight. It was a hell of a fight, and this is where all the fans came to see a magnificent fight, and that's exactly what these guys gave you, a great fight. So that right there deserved all the respect. And, you know, the gameplay, I always have love for Ortiz because we shared the ring and what we're doing it for our daughters and the situation that we was in. You know, I always have love for him. And he came with a game plan, and it seemed like he executed the game plan. And much love to him, and, you know, we wish nothing but the best for him moving forward.
Is that the fight you would want next should you be victorious on October 15th?
Now, they wouldn't do this if they didn't plan on making the fight. They wouldn't be having him in the ring and, you know, come on, you've seen this happen before. They wouldn't having them be confronting each other in the ring if the fight wasn't going to happen. They even did it for Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence.
I mean, Deontay Wilder's back. You know, he always looking for great, exciting fights. That's what he loved to give the fans. So if that's what lined up next, I got to handle the business. After that, man, we can get it on.
We'll be looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Deontay. Brian, back to you.
So, Andrew Ruiz wants to fight. Deontay Wilder wants to fight. They're both under the same promotional banner. They're both having a pay-per-view, you know, on the same network, just 5 weeks apart. They're on the same timeline. You know, and both of these fighters command pay-per-view purses. They're not fighting nobody else. We're not going to see Deontay Wilder fighting Alexander Usyk. We're not going to see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony Joshua. They already have it set. And PBC is trying to get a new deal with Fox, or maybe trying to get a new deal with Fox, and maybe they holding this as the carrot over the network. Like, look, I know we had a bad few years, but we got, you know, Wilder Ruiz for you. You know, this fight is happening. Robert Helenius is good. Okay, he's all right. He's got a nice skill set, but once you touch his chin, it gets real ugly. You know, and I think that he may have a good few rounds and then he's going to go to sleep. And I am not a fan of fighters fighting sparring partners, let alone, I'm talking about longtime sparring partners, let alone a sparring partner on pay-per-view. I'm really disgusted that they had Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin on pay-per-view to start off this year. And then Luis Ortiz headlines a pay-per-view, but then Charles Martin fights on the fucking YouTube stream in an empty arena. Y'all just basically just told us he wasn't a pay-per-view fighter in the first place. So I get it. Deontay Wilder gets a lot of money under contract with PBC. Rumors are he's owed some money, so, they got to put him on pay-per-view, put him in against a side versus a what side is Robert Helenius? He's like a D side, maybe an F side, an E side. I get it. So, this Wilder Ruiz fight is very profitable for PBC as an organization. They're not going to let that go. That's their heavyweight fight. They're not going to let it go. They're going to fight each other. Now, who do I have winning? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that Andy Ruiz can take that shit that Deontay Wilder is giving out. I don't think he can take it like what Deontay Wilder is giving out. Because Ruiz, he needs to be on the inside to be effective. One thing we learned about Deontay Wilder, he has significant issues fighting on the inside, but Andy Ruiz is not the type of person that's going to rush Deontay Wilder. And if you try to box Deontay Wilder, what did we see happens? He lines you up with that jab, he pulls it out, and then he lets that bomb go. And it will go through the guard, and you ain't getting up unless you're Tyson Fury. But Tyson Fury damn near died. I don't know. It's some questions. I don't think I'm not confident that Andy Ruiz can do it unless Deontay Wilder's just completely shot. I'm not confident that Andy Ruiz can do it. Remember, I keep using the same example about how, like, when Deontay Wilder hit Tyson Fury and the fucking fat, let me see if I can find the clip. And the fat, like he hit him in the head and then the fat, like, ripple. It started at his neck and then went down to his back, and you seen like the ripple effect. And once it hit his legs, he was finished. Let me see. Wilder, Fury. Let me see if I can find this clip. I don't think he can do it, bro. I think this is the clip right here. Like, I don't think he can do it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to love the fight. Yes. I'm going to watch the fight. I'm going to cover the fight. It's going to be a big event, I'm guessing, knockdown. I expect the undercard to be showcase fights. How come this clip is so doggone hard to find? I'm finding all the clips of Deontay Wilder, Fury knocking out Wilder, but not that knockdown. And I'm not going to be searching forever. Y'all know what I'm talking about, though. Oh, is this one? Watch this shit right here. Andrew Ruiz can't take this. Look, and you see it? You see how it came down his fucking back? Andrew Ruiz ain't eating that, bro. Watch that shit. Let's go full screen. Andrew Ruiz, he not eating that. He can eat everything else. But his ass ain't eating this. Look at that. Look. Like, once he lines you up like that, and Andy Ruiz, even though he quick, but Andy Ruiz going to have to be real quick before this shit hit him. Look, legs just gave out. Shit's all fucked up. He don't know what the fuck is going on. And he's trying to act like he cool, but he wasn't. Like, how a drunk trying to walk home, like he gather himself. That liquor hits you, you think, yeah, I got this shit. T-Street's been in, you like, yeah, I got it. Don't worry. And you're like, oh shit, you know what? I don't fucking got this shit. Let me grab something. Andrew Ruiz ain't doing it, bro. Andy ain't doing it. Andy ain't doing it. With that said, though, I did rate this card a 7 of 10. I did rate this card as 7 of 10. Rayo getting his ass knocked out. My bad, I was muted. Rayo getting his ass knocked out. That was, I had a question mark around Santos, but I didn't know that he was going to beat Rayo up like that. That's the type of ass whooping that's going to follow you for your career, and I hope that he comes back better off of that. As far as Isaac Cruz versus Ramirez, that was a squash match. Ramirez is a 126-pound fighter who moved up to 130, then up to 135. That was exactly what it was supposed to be for Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz don't get no stripes for that. Then you had Abner Maris. Abner Maris fought to a draw against Miguel Flores. You know what I thought it was? Abner Maris stamina. That rush showed up around like round 4 or 5 because he started dancing around and like he couldn't really hang in there. And please get that guy away from 135. This fight against Miguel Flores was at 135. And I'm guessing because of the 4+ year layoff, they didn't want him draining down to 130 for his first fight back. So they said, all right, 135, but he needs not to be at 135. But I still do think that Abner Maris has something to give. He's got to get his conditioning in order because even though it was a draw, like I said, you can see like, okay, he still got it. He can still compete at 130. But 135, no, stay the hell away. But he needs about a couple more fights before he really, really gets, like back into like the swing of things. Rayo Salim beat Mike Planella. That was on PBC on FS1. Mike Planella was ranked very highly by the WBO and ranked by all the sanctioning bodies. Rayo Salim, I would like to see him versus Stephen Fulton. If Stephen Fulton don't move up, because Stephen Fulton can't get an undisputed fight right now with WB IBF champion Marjan Akhmadaliev because he's dealing with a hand injury and may be out for at least 6 to 8 months. Joey Spencer, only 22 years old, 16-0 with 10 KOs. Or 15-0. Or was it 16-0? I don't remember. Even though I'm saying it right there, I don't know. I think it's 16-0 now after this fight. Yep, 16-0. But, he's not ranked anywhere, 22 years old, and you're wondering where, like, they're going to push him. It's like, okay, what are you doing with him? We keep seeing him on Fox. He fought on the Fox, Free TV Fox portion. So basically, let me explain how it went. It was really confusing. From 6 to 7 on YouTube, they had the early prelims. It was only one fight, Charles Martin versus Devin Vargas. From 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., they had PBC on FS1 prelims as well, early prelims again on FS1 between Rayo Salim and Mike Planella. Then on Free TV Fox from 8 to 9 p.m., they had Joey Spencer versus Kevin Sagado. It was weird, but I did watch all of the fights. I didn't cover, though, the Joey Spencer card because, frankly, I fell asleep at the desk. All right? But when you look at where... Put it this way, right now, if I was to rate the cards, like the fights that really meant something, it was the Rayo Salim fight because it's like, okay, it's time for him to step up. He's 32 years old, by the way. But Stephen Fulton, if you're really looking, unless he fight Brandon Figueroa again, who's now at 126, then it's like, who are you going to fight? And he's been fighting a lot of undefeated fighters. You see what I'm saying? But the Rayo Valenzuela fight, Valenzuela fight, I'm wondering, because he took an ass whooping. Like, he don't get me wrong, he was able to drop Santos too, but it was clear that Santos was the harder puncher. And by the way, hey, listen, I didn't know Dominicans was doing it too. But without looking, how old would you think this guy is? Maybe it's the beard. Maybe he was one of them kids that had like a beard when he was like 14. Them high schoolers and shit, the middle schoolers. They'd be like, damn, man, they had a facial hair and shit. But he's supposed to be 22 years old. And when I was looking at him in the ring, I'm like, all right, bro. I'm going to try to believe you. But, you know. And in this day and age, going back to Rayo, in this day and age, fighters be taking their first loss real seriously. Did you notice how all these motherfuckers take a loss now? No disrespect, but they come back with all these mental health issues and shit and PTSD. You know, they like these fighters in this generation, they can't take a loss. So I'm just hoping that, and don't take no long layoff. Like, you still young, because this was supposed to be a fight that was supposed to get him a rating, a ranking. So he got to get back out there and get on the saddle and be like, all right, listen, we got knocked out. We got to improve on some things. And, but I'll rate the card a 7 out of 10. It was, that was racist. Oh my God. That wasn't racist. I can't be racist. I'm half Hispanic and I'm half Irish and half black. I can't be racist. What are you talking about? That don't work. And I'm going to identify as being a liberal. How about that? Now I can't get in no trouble. I'm going to identify as being a liberal. As soon as I get into some shit, I'm going to be like, Black Lives Matter. BLM. Let me stop joking. That's some bullshit. But yeah, man, let me get up out of here. I'm going to be covering the shit out of Savannah Marshall and Claressa Shields card this weekend. Their press conference is going to be on Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. So I'm going to be here covering the press conference if you guys are going to be up early. And then I'm definitely covering UFC 279 this weekend. Take your time out. Like the video, subscribe. I'm T Street Controversy with Fight View 360. Also, download my Fight View 360 boxing podcast.